Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, so it seems to be a very leaky week for Kabam this time around, and we do have the new 6-star featured crystal leak from MCOC player 920. You can find him on Twitter. We can see the full list of the champions in the upcoming 6-star featured crystal. So let's quickly go through them, and then I'm gonna offer my comments. Danny Moonstar, Iceman, Emma Frost, Old Man Logan, Moondragon, Night Thrasher, Black Widow, Gwenpool, Sandman, Silk, Luke Cage, Joe Fixit, Mango, Guillotine, Black Widow Clairvoyant, Loki, Adam Warlock, Silver Surfer, The Champion, Gamora, Lady Deathstrike, Punisher 2099, Psycho Man, and Dr. Octopus. So, first things first, let's discuss the new 6-stars. We have Sandman, Silk, Danny Moonstar, Moondragon, Lady Deathstrike, and Adam Warlock. Overall, I think we have had like a very stable, solid year of champion releases thus far. I don't think there's any exceptionally bad champions released so far in 2023, but I will say that overall, I do think that current featured holds stronger champions in the crystal than the new one, in between like future Ant-Man, Kate Bishop, and Cassie. I do think Silk's very strong. I think Silk and Lady Deathstrike are probably the two best champions in it. Adam Warlock, I personally haven't been like super impressed. He's quite cool. He's definitely not a bad champion, but you know, I'm not quite over the moon with him either. And then we have like Sandman and Moondragon and Danny Moonstar. Danny Moonstar, I have a rank 5 6-star, and I will honestly say that I'm not like super impressed with her as well. Sandman, I think, needs a bit of balancing potentially. He did put in a lot of work in the last meta, but that was all thanks to Healerverse. And then we have Moondragon, which I think is, a solid champion. I don't think Moondragon is like as good as Kate, but I do think Moondragon's better than, let's say, Baron Zemo, for instance. So overall, my personal kind of evaluation would be that Silk and Lady Deathstrike are at the top of it. Then, the rest of the champions are relatively similar in terms of quality. So, I don't think that's the most desirable list of 6 new featured champions, overall, all things considered. But now let's take a look at the rest of it. And I'll just be honest, I think this is the worst base pool for a 6-star feature. This is, I think, overall the worst 6-star feature that I have seen in a very, very long time, if not ever. There isn't a single top champion in the game. Like, there is no APOC or Hercules or Archangel or, any of the very, very top of the game champions in it. And there's only like a handful of, good, solid champions. Like, Joe Fixit's good, but that's not like Human Torch or what have you. And, Black Widow Clairvoyant is a good champion without a doubt, but she has lost quite a lot of ground, and I wouldn't say that she's at top of the Mystic class either. But then on top of it, we have Psycho Man, one of the most useless recent releases in the game. We have Loki, an absolute trash. We have Luke Cage, far from a desirable champion. Gwenpool, far from a desirable champion. Night Thrasher. I personally quite like Night Thrasher, but let's face it, he's not a frequently used champion in the game. Old Man Logan, a champion that seems to be in like virtually every new featured 6-star hero crystal. So, frankly speaking, I think it's a really, really, really trash 6-star crystal. And before I knew what's in that crystal, I already had kind of my reservations on opening 6-star features. I have started opening way, way, way more basics just due to 7-star shards. And after seeing this feature crystal, I have very little to no interest in it at all. Like, I still don't have 6-star Sandman and Moondragon, but I can just wait till they appear in basic arenas, which is what I plan to do. What I will do is I'll probably do like a one relatively smallish opening when this new crystal launches in a few weeks' time. And if I don't get Sandman or Moondragon, then I'm just gonna wait for the basic arenas. I will not be actively pursuing and paying the 5,000 shard premium for this steaming pile of garbage crystal. Like, honestly, like at half of the crystal, I'd say our 12 champions are pretty much coming out of the very bottom tiers of this game. There's, again, the 6 new champions are good, and then any other champions that are like, legitimately properly useful at like battlegrounds or something like that. We have Joe Fixit, but we have 7 stars that people are hunting. So even if people pull Joe Fixit, a lot will be hesitant because 7-star Joe Fixit. Mangog, kind of same thing. Mangog's gotten a lot more popular as a 7-star. Guillotine, Black Widow Clairvoyant will be a good champion if you don't have her already. But, Loki. So we have like three champions, I would say, that are actively being used like in more competitive game modes, besides the new features. And then we have, some funky, some alright. Like Dr. Octopus, I don't think is a bad champion, but he's far from somebody that you'd be hunting for. And then obviously all the Loki's, Psychomans, and Old Man Logans and whatnot. Man, who made this crystal? It's like, honestly, who made this crystal? Is like the perfect argument to convince everybody not to open feature crystals and just open basic crystals to get the 7-star shards quicker. Especially now with the way 7-star importance is, obvious in the game, and everybody chasing the 7-star shards as much as possible. This crystal had to be amazing, right? This crystal had to be a very, very good crystal to convince players to open it. And they just went completely opposite route. It's like they are trying to convince you not to. And even if you are missing many of these newer champions, I'd still be opening basic crystals pretty much because, over time and throughout the events, you get these Nexus crystals and so on and so forth, where you eventually will get these champions, even if you do not want to grind the basic arena, which basic arenas are relatively easy to get the champions in. And yeah, like right here, right now, at this point in the game, for like 90% of the players, I would say this featured crystal is absolutely not worth. I actually don't know who this crystal is worth the extra 5,000 shards, because if you are at the top of the game and if you are like an experienced player, yeah, you can grind the basic arena to acquire that champion, or chances are you have quite a few of these champions already from some other arenas, or eventually you're going to get them from crystals, but acquiring 7 stars is more important, I would argue, because not a single one of these champions is like super game breaking. At the very least, it doesn't appear that any of them are like, absolute must haves. And if you're like a, lower level player that would consider it, just don't. It's a huge waste of shards at this point. And yeah, this crystal had to be filled with like, Human Torches, Archangels, and Herculeses, and that type of champions. This? Nah, man. Like, nah. This ain't it, chief. Such a garbage crystal. Let me know what you guys think anyways, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the